What does Zyn really give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but also real freedom to do more of what you love, when and where you want to do it. Why bring Zyn along for the ride? Because America's #1 nicotine pouch opens up all the possibilities of right now. With Zyn, you don't just find freedom, you keep finding it. Find your Zyn. Learn more at Zyn.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
We welcome in David Samson. Nothing Personal is the name of the podcast. You catch it wherever you get podcasts. David, we were musing that the existence of the White Rodney is rather rare. I met one in the wild yesterday. But as we've been in the break, we started all
He
these...
picked you up at the airport, man.
Yeah.
Not in the
Rodney.
wild.
Well, I mean, it's a wild, I just ran into a Rodney. I wasn't searching for one. But Stugotz has provided me with two in the break. Which one's Stugotz?
Oh, Rod Laver.
Rod Laver's a Rodney.
Yeah. Who was the other one?
Rod Carew.
Oh, Rod Carew.
Rodney
yes.
Carew.
Yes.
David Samson.
Jewish.
Yes.
Well, and then...
And then I found Rod Morgenstein. Here we are, finally, a Steen or a Stein.
David, do you have any other White Rodneys to add to the proceedings?
No, because I can't get past Tidwell.
Rod Tidwell? He's
That's
not
it.
white.
Like, you say Rod, that's the only place I go. I go right to Gooding Jr., I go right to Jerry Maguire. I couldn't think of Rod Laver. I couldn't think of Rodney Mott, may be an NBA referee.
Yes, Rodney Mott is an NBA referee. Rodney Mott is also black, though.
But Rod Carew is.
Rod Carew's black?
Yes.
I thought you said Jewish.
No, he converted to Judaism.
He's black and he's Jewish. Yes.
You can be both. Yeah, you can be
Did
both.
you make Rod Carew white?
I did.
Stugotz, I think we have to stop for a minute. Because Amin just actually thought that there's only white Jews.
No,
number one.
I didn't think that. But if you tell me there's a Jewish
Jesus
baseball
was
player-
Jewish.
Yes, Jesus was Jewish.
He's going to picture David Eckstein if you say there's a Jewish
A
baseball
Jewish
player.
baseball
all right?
player, or like Sandy Koufax or whatever. Like it's like you don't think about people converting as much. Obviously, there are a lot of Ethiopian Jews, right, who are all black. So I know the existence of black Jews. There are also the people on 42nd Street, the Lost Tribes of Israel. They're Israelites of some sort.
Man, we used to do the show out of
Wait a
Miami
minute.
Gardens. They
used to be there?
They were out there.
Oh, man. I love the hype man guy. He's got the easiest job because the one guy will say, the Bible says, and he said, and the Bible be saying. I'm like, that's your whole job just to repeat what he said?
I honestly had no idea about them until I was driving into work one day. I'm like, what's going on here with all these costumes?
Oh, man. It's like they're dressed like it's like the crusade.
Interesting note on Carew. There's no evidence that he ever actually formally converted to Judaism himself, but he wore a high necklace while he was playing, and all of his daughters ultimately were bat mitzvahed.
But definitely black.
That's a fact.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay. How about that? Put that in the Sueys. Wait, put that on the poll. Did you know that Rod Carew is black?
Everyone knows.
Everybody knows that. I mean,
100-0.
This is I'm gonna tell
In
you.
the poll.
I'm gonna tell you what it's like. It's exactly like when they told me when Bryce Harper was either a rookie or a second year. He was in the home run derby, and they said Bryce Harper's dad is pitching to him. His dad, Ron Harper, and I was like, huh. I didn't know Bryce Harper was black.
Ronald Harper.
No, they said Ron Harper. So I'm like, oh, and so for a couple of years I was like, yeah, man, I didn't know because I didn't know what Bryce Harper looked like.
What genes?
So then they were like, no, Bryce Harper's not black. I'm like, well, his dad's Ron Harper, right? And it's no, his dad is named Ron Harper, but it's not that Ron Harper. I'm like, bullshit. You don't get to call yourself Ron Harper then.
Were you listening to the Home Run Derby like on the radio or something?
I was on SportsCenter in the background. I was doing SportsCenter that day. I wasn't paying attention. You know, I don't watch this shit.
You sure weren't.
But the point is, the idea that like someone can walk around. First of all, we need to know what Bryce Harper's dad's name is. We don't. We really don't. Did his dad play anything? No. Okay. Don't need to know his name. Second of all, if his name is Ron Harper, guess what? It's no longer Ron Harper. It's Ronald Harper.
Wow. So there can't be an actor named Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, not Michael Jordan. You can be Ronald B. Harper, B. Harper.
Okay.
But you can't be Ron Harper.
That's fair.
That's I'll
Ron
put my
F.
foot down on
Harper or something.
Ron F. Harper. Please say the F.
No one who is a fan of Bryce Harper is aware of couldn't pick Ron Harper out of a crowded room.
He looks like him though, right? This is Dad.
Which Ron Harper?
Yeah, which Ron Harper are we talking about?
The basketball player.
Oh.
He's tall.
No, everyone knows
A
Ron
very
Harper.
tall point guard for his day.
Yeah. We know Ron Harper but if you talk to baseball fans who are watching Bryce Harper, my guess is they're not solely focused on Ron Harper. You're forgetting, when was the last time Ron Harper got into uniform? I may
Ron
be having
Harper?
some timing issues, but I'm thinking, 2002?
For when the last time Ron Harper was a name?
No, when did he last play?
2001.
He's old.
He was an
Good
assistant
guess.
coach for the Pistons 2005 to 2007.
He's 61.
Nope. No one knows who that is.
Put it on the poll. Do you know who Ron Harper is?
Also, put it on the poll. Can you follow more than one sport? This is a weird take.
Ron Harper won 5 NBA titles.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many has Bryce Harper won?
He was a 2-time MAC Player of the Year. I mean, come on.
how many-
1985? Jeez.
How many Player of the Year awards does Bryce Harper have? Yeah.
He was an
Which
MVP. So.
Well, okay, that's one.
That's
2 to
kind
1.
of a Player of the
2 to
Year.
1.
What do you mean?
2 to 1.
Well, he also jumped straight from high school to the pros.
He's an
Yeah,
8-time All-Star.
His dad was actually a bit of a higher profile because of the prodigious nature of Bryce Harper's, career.
Let's be honest. Ron didn't win a thing.
Well,
I mean, Michael won him 5 championships.
well, hold on. Hold on.
5
First of all,
things.
he won 5 things. 3
Well,
of-
he didn't really
And
win
he didn't
them,
win
though.
them. He didn't win them all with Michael.
He had 2 with the Lakers.
Bryce was a 2-time
Handed a
MVP,
ring, I
by the
mean.
way. So 2-time Player of the Year, technically.
And if you really want to play this game, Ron Harper's son, Dylan Harper, going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. I'm saying it right now. Going to be better than Bryce Harper. This Ron Harper's son will be better than that Ron Harper's son. How about that?
That is a take. That's ridiculous.
We're going to put seed versus seed.
Bryce is really actually fulfilling
One of the greatest
Shining
players
seed.
of his generation.
Okay.
Yeah,
what
David,
do you think Dylan Harper is?
I mean, wasn't Bryce Harper on the cover of SI while he was in high school still? Bryce Harper has lived up to the expectations, yes?
He's LeBron James, basically. But here's something that Ron Harper did for Bryce Harper.
Which
and
Ron Harper?
With the other Ron Harper.
Got it.
The one who's not
Ronald
the
B.
NBA
Harper.
player.
Yeah.
Had him go to a college which basically skirted the draft rules and made him eligible to be drafted and get a huge bonus from the Nationals when they had back-to-back 1-1s. They had Strasburg, who ended up being a World Series MVP, and Bryce Harper, and it became they closed some loops because of Ron Harper. So there was, if you go back and read about Bryce, and many people don't focus on this, he was able to get himself out of school into a different type of school, which enabled him to then be draft eligible.
You know who didn't have to do that? The other Ron Harper.
It's
Ron
crazy
Harper.
because Bryce Harper, as a kid, like when he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 2009 as the chosen one, like LeBron, remember, he was going to be a catcher. He was drafted as a catcher. If they would have, obviously, the right decision to not let him be a catcher long term, he's going to have a much longer career because of it. He probably would have gotten banged up. But if he had had even a 5-year run as a catcher with the type of hitter he is,
Hall of
we would
Fame.
have been talking about him and his peak as like one of the greatest peaks in the history of baseball.
Respectfully, that's not interesting.
That's
Stugotz,
cold, man.
that's Joe Mauer.
Oh,
Yes.
hold on a second.
Right.
Bryce Harper, way better hitter than Joe Mauer.
No doubt.
And Joe Mauer's all-time
You're
great as a
freak.
catcher, but Bryce Harper and the power speed combination. I mean, David.
You're forgetting how good Joe Mauer was,
He was
for
okay.
a big number of years. Now, I understand that there's a hot take but Stugotz take that Joe Mauer is not HOF worthy, but
I said first ballot worthy.
First
That's all I
ballot
said.
worthy.
Yes.
he's really good.
I don't want to be the one to shit on Joe Mauer here. I think Joe Mauer is
Sounds
like
like you
an
are.
unbelievable hitter. I was the only one to defend Joe Mauer
You're
when Stugotz
volunteering
started
this,
there.
though.
Yeah.
I am volunteering
You're
it.
like the Pacer
Bryce
fan.
Harper would have been better. Is it crazy to say that Bryce Harper at the catcher position is the type of hitter I don't even know why we're in this conversation. This is my own fault.
I mean, but like everyone thought Buster Posey was going to be great, and he kind of
It was
pretty great.
Didn't Harper leave the Nationals and they won the World Series the next year?
Buster Posey
Yes.
ruined baseball, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Because of the
Buster Posey ruined baseball because he couldn't take a hit from Scott Cousins, and that's a fact, Jack.
I had a feeling you'd invoke Scott Cousins there. FSU, good at churning out catchers.
So if we're keeping track at home, Ron Harper adds championships to his teams. Bryce Harper, not so much. It kind of negates it. He goes away, they start winning. That's not a good look.
I have a question.
Plus minus.
I have a question that'll kind of switch gears a little bit. It was yesterday's topic du jour, but I'm curious to get your perspective because the WNBA is in a curious position when it comes to this Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark thing because it is good for business. It is getting people. My dad was FaceTiming me yesterday, and he was talking to me about the Angel Reese segment that Stu and Dan had. This is the storyline in the league. And anyone that tries to convince themselves otherwise isn't necessarily in tune with what's going on. Now, it may be a discourse that they're not a fan of. It may be a discourse that they're openly against, and I understand that. Juju spoke to it yesterday. But this is the discourse that is going to be paying the bills. This is the discourse that is going to be getting eyes to that league whenever Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark play. So how does the league navigate this?
Yeah, I do not believe this is the discourse that pays the bills. This is the heroin discourse to me. And I don't mean
heroin with
females.
Okay.
I mean the drug.
No E. Okay.
Oh.
This feels really good, I've heard, right when you do it, and then all of a sudden it's really bad.
Chasing the dragon.
Yeah.
So this is a way to try to jumpstart something to achieve a value that you believe you deserve to have, will have, could have. And this is the shortcut to it. The problem is when you're building up franchise valuations or building up sponsor relationships, as you head into a collective bargaining negotiation, where the players say they could walk out, they want to be treated like Unrivaled treated them, and they view this as the cotton candy. Look at all the ratings. Look at what we're getting. Look at this rivalry. It's total poppycock. The people who pay the bills do not want this narrative. They do not want to pay for this narrative. They don't want any part of it. Why? Because Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, if you're going to do it, you do it on the court.
Do it in the playoffs.
You are not in the position as a league right now to have this as your revenue driver.
Brown sugar. Here's the thing. For years, I'm not saying it's good, but I'm just saying for years, people have complained that the establishment doesn't pay attention to women's sports. And now it is. And it's doing it in a ham-handed, contrived, lazy sort of way, which, by the way, is how we do every goddamn sport.
I mean, this is my point. This is equality.
This is equality.
You have like the annoying topic. Welcome to Tim Tebow world. And should Dak Prescott get an extension? Like this is you guys making it.
Yes.
This is
the
what you've
promised
always
land.
wanted.
This is what it is. Did you think it was a hollow cathedral where we're actually doing real analysis?
We're talking about tush pushes for like 4 weeks straight.
We just did 10 minutes on Bryce Harper versus Ron Harper.
When we
by the
talk
way, I've
about
never been
you
more
in a
right
way
about.
that's lazy without information, you have made it. You
That's
are right.
it.
Yes.
This is a
But they're not
congratulations.
Cover
ready.
football. I mean,
What's that, David?
I'm sorry, they're not ready for this discourse. You're wanting to put the WNBA in this place where it would be part of the cathedral of topics that we would discuss in the media and the sort of insane way that we would look at things. That is a mature league that gets those discussions. And I want to point this out on the business side. There's a big difference when you talk about leagues that have established media rights deals, that have established billion-dollar valuations, versus when you talk about startup leagues or fledgling leagues. In order for a fledgling league, which is what the WNBA is, please do not make a mistake. This league is supported by the NBA and the owners. These teams lose money. Their values have not gone up in any measurable way. Hard stop. The broadcast deals were handed to them. And now the players believe that because of all of this attention that they're getting off the court and the numbers that have been good on the court, I grant you, yes, they outdrew the Yankees-Mets Subway Series game on ESPN. I get you, but you're missing foundation. And so the analogy I would give you is that when you build a building and you forget the rebar, you may get to take the elevator one time before it comes crumbling down. The better way to do it is you build with rebar and you build it appropriately and you build it over time, and then it becomes strong and valuable, then we get to do all the lazy takes and all the talks that we talk about off the court, rivalries, et cetera, et cetera. It's just not yet.
David, I'm wondering your thoughts here about flag football being an Olympic sport. If you were an NFL owner, would you want one of your players playing in the Olympics, playing flag football in the Olympics?
No chance.
Right.
This was an interesting vote here, Stugotz. What I thought happened here is the NFL gets its cake and they get to eat it too. Mm-hmm. They get to announce a unanimous approval for NFL players to play in the Olympics. They get to not go sideways against Washington, where the current president is very pro-patriotism, who's not, very pro-Olympics, as though we're back in the Cold War. Hey, we're going to let our best players out here win as many gold medals as possible. It's in LA. We're home. We've got to win. But what's happening on the side is that what the NFL owners are saying, we're giving this to the players. We're saying, good, you can play. For all of you who've spoken up and said, oh, we'd be interested, we want our chance at gold. But here's what we want in return. We want 18 weeks. We want an international game every single weekend. And when we start negotiating our next CBA, this is the trade. You want us to give you permission and fully ensure the fact that you can play. It won't count against the cap if you get hurt. Fine. But guess what? We want something in return. That's how these negotiations work.
David, I'm curious if you know the answer to this. How much money is in the international games for the NFL? Because it's not a separate TV package. Maybe that's the end game spends. But is this just a ticket sales revenue type of play? Why is the league, according to you, going to be forcing this issue? We want an international game. Is that just it serves a greater good if we spread the game around that'll ultimately help the bottom dollar? Or is there a legit current business to this model?
Yeah, what do you do when you rule everything that you see? What do you think you do?
You try
when
to
you rule?
See more.
You try to see more. You go up a little higher to see if you can see more. That's what the NFL is doing. That's what MLB and the NBA are all trying to find ways to get out of the American market, to get whether it's promotion money, which you get because they're promoters who actually pay to host games, and then you get extra merch, extra tickets. There are extra TV deals that are done internationally. And with streamers, you only get different markets. You don't get the world. You have to pay for different parts of the world. But the NFL, they want to conquer new frontiers. It's the oldest form of capitalism in the world. The more you have, the more you want. And the more you get, the more you strive to get more. And that's what the NFL is doing. And they've been pretty overt about this, and God bless them.
Well, I just assume that it's actually a presently a booming business for them because we're not early into this European expansion project for the NFL. It's going on, what, 15, we're close to 20 years on them dabbling in trying to increase that market. They keep doing it. They keep increasing the numbers. So I imagine there's a lot of money in these international games presently. It's not just serving the greater good.
There is not. There's actually not. MLB does not make a ton of money on its international games. Neither does the NBA. You're paying the players more. The expenses are more. But what it is, you always want the illusion. If you're starting a business and you've got one store or one point of sale, but then you can say that, oh, we opened a second store or a third store, you're not telling people what your revenue is per store when you're first starting your business. You're just giving the illusion that there's growth, that it's cool, it's exciting, it's an upward trajectory. The NFL's been doing this for a super long time, and they're going to keep going, but you're seeing incremental changes. I can't remember the year, you guys will know. There used to be one international game.
Yeah.
And now it feels like, what did they announce this year? 6 or 7, including Ireland and Germany.
Madrid.
Believe me, in the next 3 years, it will be more than double-digit international games, more and more countries hosting, because it's the old story. You always want more than you have, even if it's only a small increment.
Okay, so I thought I was good with money. Turns out I was really good at ignoring it. Like, how am I spending this much on delivery or Uber? or that one shoe store that I buy too many shoes from. Then I started using Monarch Money, and dude, it's a financial wake-up call. Monarch's not just some budgeting app. It's basically your money command center. Puts everything, accounts, credit cards, investments, into one place so you're not guessing anymore. And listen, I found stuff I didn't even know I was paying for. Since I started using Monarch, I'm tracking my spending, actually saving, and yeah, even having money check-ins with my wife, and we're looking at each other and we're like, yeah, okay, we're all good. It makes the hard stuff way easier, and over 1 million households use Monarch. It was named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. So it's not just me hyping up, it's legit. It's real. Real deal Holyfield, and get control of all of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code Dan at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code Dan.
Howdy, listeners. It's Mike. This is one of the best times of the year. You're caught up in the emotion of the playoffs. Big-time crucial games, going to games, hanging with your boys, hanging with your ladies, hanging with your family, and having a good old-fashioned time. Well, I can speak from experience. I've been doing all those things, but I've been doing so with a Miller Lite by my side because having good times is great. Making those good times a Miller time makes it an unbelievable time, a time of your life. With Miller Lite, a brand and a beverage that has been around for 50 glorious years. That's hard to do. Remain popular and delivering on great flavor for 50 years. Brewed with simple ingredients, none of the fluff, just real flavor. Malted barley gives it that rich, balanced toffee note taste and the iconic golden color that just hits right every time. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
The NBA Finals are almost here, and every second counts with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. You're not just watching history, you're betting on it. Now's your shot to get in on the action. Player props, game lines, live bets. This is playoff betting at its finest. New to DraftKings? Bet just $5, and if your bet hits, you cash with $300 in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Dan. That's code Dan for new customers to get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Don Le Batard. This guy comes in as the next Wayne Gretzky. His nicknames include the Chosen One and McJesus. Okay? He's a great player. He scores a lot of goals. He scores a ton of assists, but it hasn't translated to making Edmonton a powerhouse in the league.
They're in the final.
Stugotz.
What's your nickname for him?
McOverrated. This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. David, when, if ever, do you think the NFL takes the next huge step, which is a team based internationally or a Super Bowl that isn't in the United States?
I think as soon as they bring back supersonic jets, and there is some talk, once the Concorde crashed, that was the end.
Yeah.
Do you know what the... have you ever heard of the Concorde?
No, are they bringing the Concorde back?
There have been people
There have been
speculating.
rumors.
Oh!
Mm-hmm.
We're back, baby.
This is a big deal. There has not been... This is a crazy thing to think about for those of us who are old. And so, Greg, I'll address this to you.
Thank you.
Has there been real innovation in the aerospace industry in our lifetime?
I mean,
it still takes
removing outer space tourism.
Yeah, but that doesn't help me get to a game faster.
No, in fact, many would argue we've taken a step back lately.
Yes.
Yes, we certainly could argue that, especially if you ever use EWR. I would say that if the ability to travel overseas to London, if you can lower that time from New York and get it down to 3 to a 3.5 hour flight, and you make it so you can go play more than one game there, the way the Vikings are this year, the way the Jaguars have done in the past, you make it so it's easier for teams to play multiple games. You will see international games. You may see an international division, and then you will see an international Super Bowl. Greg, you and I will still have a microphone in front of us. God willing, there will be an international Super Bowl.
Wow.
I feel like it shouldn't be that hard, should it? To have an international Super Bowl?
I think the bigger issue is probably taxes and working that out with the players' union. You oversaw a team in a different country, and that was just Canada, and it was certainly complicated. I mean, whole different tax structure over in Europe. A lot of players wouldn't be excited to go there. You might have people blocking draft picks the way that Eli did when he didn't want to go to San Diego, right, David?
Let me give you a shout out to Revenue Quebec. It is the biggest. It makes the IRS look fantastic. It is such a pain in the neck for players who are dealing with Canada taxes. You get credits for your U.S. taxes, but you have to fight for if they're dollar for dollar. It's a whole Megillah when you play 81 of your games in Canada, which is half of your salary gets taxed in Canada. It's a complete pain in the neck to cross the border back and forth all these times. So you're right. It is a definite lift. And if you are playing in London and you have small kids, it's a big union issue because you can't just go back and forth as easily, which brings us back to the supersonic jet, because you can have your family live in New York and play for Houston, and the union doesn't say a word about it. And if the flying time becomes somewhat similar to get to a different place, you're just going east instead of west, I think that can happen.
But David, a Super Bowl, though, again, I go back, like you guys are talking in terms of a team being based overseas. Yes, that can be complicated. To have a Super Bowl.
Why is that such a big deal? What Minnesota gets a Super Bowl? I'm
how hard could it be to have a Super Bowl in Madrid or in Rome or
that
whatever?
would seem to be the way to actually usher in a new era of European expansion for the NFL is start with the Super Bowl and then announce all these other things.
Do we start it on our time or do we start it on Madrid's time? Because they're 6 hours ahead.
No, the NFL is always considered Europe when it comes to the Super Bowl starts. It's not a prime time start. They try to increase the audience. It's usually like a 6:15-ish start that does consider international markets.
Well, that's pretty late though. The Super Bowl that starts at, I think kickoff is normally 6:29 Eastern. That's 11:30 in
David,
England.
if you're a rights holder, you kind of want the primetime spot.
It's Sunday. Do a 1 p.m. kickoff. Like, what's the big deal?
That's what it would be.
Yeah,
The
do it
Super
like a
Bowl
Saturday.
change.
Yeah, like a 3:30 is fine.
Why 3:30? 1 o'clock's fine.
Because it's 8:30 in the UK. I mean, we're getting down in the weeds here. Answer the question.
So let's take it back a little macro. The way owners vote on Super Bowls is where they want to be, because unlike the other sports, every owner goes to the Super Bowl. No owners go to the World Series. I mean, I would bet you $1
they don't go.
that 2 owners at most go to the NBA Finals, maybe 0.
Yeah.
But in the Super Bowl, they all go. And they want to go where it's nice. It's why Miami is always a great choice. Vegas, obviously. LA, obviously. Minnesota was less than ideal. But when you have to get a Super Bowl in order to get a publicly funded stadium and the trade that's made, owners are willing to give in on that because they want the new facilities. Going to Europe, not the end of the world, but it's not a great time of year in early February in any of these big European cities. London's weather in February. Terrible.
Yeah. David, you've been having a busy couple of days here with graduations, right? Kids are graduating. It's the cycle of life, guys, right? The baby bird comes out of the shell and grows up, and then one day he's got to leave the nest and fly. And so have you
They're tough to sit through, though. I mean, they are.
Dude,
They're long.
It is
brutal.
incredibly long. Incredibly long. And I've never, well, I guess I've been to like my kid's middle school graduation. That doesn't count. But like I've walked for my graduate and undergraduate degrees, and it was a big waste of time. I didn't do it because I wanted to do it. I did it because my family was there. I was like, they want to see this, so let me just go ahead and do it.
So, again, I'm not saying that I'm a candidate for Father of the Year by any stretch. What I am saying is that I have a note on my phone where I keep track of a lot of stuff. I would like to read to you the following. 06, 09, 09, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 17, 20, 20, 21, 21, 25, 25, 25.
Powerball
I've
numbers?
kept track of graduations since 2006 in my phone. of obligations that I would have to go to. And I just finished. I swear to you, yesterday was the final when my daughter became a doctor. And I'm so proud of them, I grant you. But God damn it, that was so many graduations.
You're done.
I lost my mind, Stu. It was hours. I don't care that I have to watch 80 other people get hooded and then watch 200 people get their name called. I'm there for my 2 seconds. Give me a slot, and I will show up for the slot. It's like the ballet recitals for a 4-year-old. I don't want to sit there 8 hours to watch my daughter do 3 minutes of a dance.
I'm kind of with you on this, David.
I'm totally with him on
Dude,
that.
it's like that's a lot of. By the way, graduations are boring.
Very boring.
Yeah, and you get someone.
So boring.
Someone has to come give a speech, and they do the whole like, you're going to go out into the world, or you're going to change the world. I'm like, oh, shut up, shut up. We all want to get out of here.
I mean, it was great the first time when a child graduates kindergarten.
Yeah.
No, you didn't
first
even.
grade.
Yeah, but that's a short one, man.
Well, number one,
it's kindergarten.
Oh, it was not short.
Really?
How big was your kindergarten class?
It wasn't that big, but they were celebrating multiple classes. It was like two hours.
But also, but I'm just saying, as a participant, forget about being a parent. As a kid, I'm just sitting there waiting for them to call my name, twiddling my thumb. Oh, that's me. Go up there, you take your picture, and that's it, right? And so now when you extrapolate it from kindergarten and then middle school graduation, high school graduation, then you get to college graduation, right? It's like, okay, we've done this before. But the college one, not only is it the biggest one with the most people, but it's got these speeches. And the speeches are sanctimonious as hell. Like, who the hell are you to tell me I'm going to go out in the world and make a change that I want to see and all that stuff? Shut up. Get to the point. Make it fast. We want to get out of here. I want to eat with my family. I want to hug my mom. I want to take pictures. I don't want to sit here listening to you wax poetic about where the world is and how it needs me.
Stugotz, who's the person that gives the speech during these graduation classes? Starts with a V.
I have no idea.
You trying to
the
lose your way?
valedictorian?
Yeah, the valedictorian. There it is.
Got to remember your own bits.
Victor something?
But also, you got to know your teammates. Like a 17-year-old callback, really?
Oh, no, he remembers.
With no heads up?
He absolutely remembers, Mike.
What?
David, what was the most memorable thing of yesterday's graduation for you?
I mean, it's cool to hear your child named as a doctor. I get it. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so I'm in. And it was cool to watch my son graduate. The coolest part was that I got to run into the owner of the Cardinals, who I hadn't seen in 7
Bidwell?
years.
Or the baseball
No,
Cardinals?
sorry. Funny. St. Louis Cardinals in baseball.
Got it.
That's funny
The
where
other
your
Ron
head
Harper.
is. So there's a bunch of interesting kids who graduated with my son. And so that was interesting to see sort of what people are doing and what the world is, how these people are communicating at age 22 that I don't communicate at age 57. It makes you feel old. My biggest emotion that I had watching my youngest child graduate college, I had pride for him. I'm proud of him. I really am, though I would have hoped he wouldn't have dropped out or not graduated once he got into college. But that said, proud of him. He wrote a great thesis. He's working starting next month in the real world. Fine.
Wait a sec. Great thesis.
It was. It was like from War Games about global thermonuclear war.
Really?
The best game is not to play.
Shall we play a game?
David, I do not owe you an apology over the Bryce Harper stuff. He has a 143 OPS plus over his career to Joe Mauer's 124. He also has 200 more home runs in one less season, also an extra MVP. But what I do potentially owe you an apology for is a few weeks ago on this program, Dan said that I said your basketball analysis was off. What that conversation led to, Dan was wrong. Dan threw me under the bus. Yep. But what that conversation led to was me saying there's no way that the Minnesota Timberwolves made the Julius Randle, Karl Anthony Towns trade for basketball reasons. You were insistent that they did. And Julius Randle has been really, really, really good. So, David, I would like, hand up, I would like to formally apologize for the criticism of your analysis, and I'd like to apologize to Julius Randle, who's been fantastic. And do I think him being great is good for the ultimate winning of the Minnesota Timberwolves? Fantastic for the expectations.
It might be
fantastic for the expectations. Do I think that him being their leading scorer is any good for the Timberwolves? Absolutely not. I think that's a bad thing. But, David, I can see what you were saying, and I owe you an apology.
Apology accepted, Jeremy, but I would like to just tell you that I have no recollection what you're talking about. But I do appreciate
Wow,
it.
I figured you would, of all people.
No, I don't keep track that way, actually. I don't do receipts. I'm not the victory lap guy because my legs would get tired. It doesn't matter.
Too many victories.
Everyone
to
is
keep track of.
entitled to be wrong.
He's just keeping track of graduation days.
Now he'll show us that $2 billion receipt, though.
There is a sports storyline going on this week that I'm shocked at how little discussion there has been, because I know it's a niche sport, but when Lance Armstrong's doing his thing, mainstream media talks about it. The biggest day in motorsports is happening on Sunday. You have Monaco, the Grand Prix, the Indianapolis 500, which used to be a way bigger deal, but 300,000 people are going to be in attendance in Indianapolis. And then NASCAR debuts on Amazon Prime later that evening with a race in Charlotte. There is one man in the history of this planet that has pulled off running all 1,100 miles in the Indianapolis 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte. 2 different cities, 2 different races, 2 different circuits, 1 driver. It's Tony Stewart. It's the only person that ever did it.
I thought you were going to say Ricky Bobby.
Only person that ever did it for IndyCar and then NASCAR on the same damn day. They completed all the miles. 2 others have tried. 2 others failed.
How'd he do?
Kyle Larson was the most recent to try. He tried last year. Both races were impacted by rain. Kyle Larson led one of the final laps before ultimately having to go into gas because he made a rookie mistake there, and then flew to Charlotte on the same day. Was never actually able to get in the car because rain impacted it. Kyle Larson is once again trying for the double. 2 races, 1 day, 1,100 miles. This is a massive story. Prime has a documentary series behind it. They are launching their coverage of NASCAR with Larson going for the back end of that double. Why? I know they're competing interests because NASCAR doesn't seem fully on board with this because it looks like Kyle Larson is prioritizing a different circuit. But this is great for the sport. It's great for all motorsports, and I don't understand why NASCAR and IndyCar aren't getting together and really teaming up and pushing this news out there, because few people even know that this is happening.
Mike, real quick question. You said Tony Stewart's the only one to do it.
How did every single mile.
How did he do it? How did he do?
He did top 6 in Indianapolis and top 3 in Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't win. It goes without saying, no one's ever pulled off the amazing feat of winning both races, but the specter of that does loom over this weekend. Kyle Larson's one of the most talented drivers. If he pulls that off in one day, if he wins both races, I don't think he's fast enough in Indy, but if he does, it's the single greatest motorsports achievement we've ever seen, and people should know that there is a chance of this happening over the weekend.
From the movie The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger, we have white Rodney Roland.
Do they wear diapers, Mike?
They just go in their tracksuits. We've asked every time, earlier in the show's history, anytime we had a NASCAR driver, it was Dan's go-to question.
And the answer is they just go in their pants?
Yeah, they just go. But they get so dehydrated during that race.
They're not peeing that much. They're not.
If you're not peeing, you're not drinking enough.
Well, they also have lines of water. They get hydrated, but it's something that does happen occasionally. They pee in their. That's your response to Kyle Larson trying for this historic double?
No, I have a better one, Mike. Is that analytics have told me that under 0.01% of our audience at Nothing Personal wants that as one of the topics. And so that's why I don't cover it. I want to cover F1. I thought that the hook of Drive to Survive and people getting excited about that, and McLaren, how great they've been. The fact of the matter is that, the kinks, Ray Davies, baby, give the people what they want. I can't find my particular show.
But that's on your show. Mike asked you a question.
No, I get it. And
I'm
look,
not the only one who thinks that way.
I understand why this show doesn't talk about NASCAR seriously. I have to put on a gimmick helmet anytime that I do.
Yeah, you haven't done that.
I understand why that does, but this is a transcendent sports story. This is someone looking to do something that only one other person has achieved, someone actually trying to win both races, who actually has a legitimate chance. Kyle Larson wins all the time in NASCAR, and he led one of the final laps last year in Indy. If there's a driver to pull it off in the modern age, it's Kyle Larson. I feel like this is a story that if the average sports fan knew what was going on a Sunday, one day a year they can get behind the biggest day in motorsports. It's a Sunday afternoon before Memorial Day. It's Americana. I feel like people need to know about this story, and it's not even being covered or addressed by the mainstream, and it's Indianapolis. It's the Indy 500. It's a big deal.
I'll take an alert. If I get an alert with 3 laps to go out of the 1,100 saying, hey, Kyle Larson's about to do this, I would tune in.
David, what are you reviewing for us today?
I'm reviewing a movie that not a lot of people have seen, and I'm hoping that somebody on this show has. It came out in 2024, not widely recognized, with one of my favorite actors, Bill Nighy, and James Norton and Thomasine McKenzie. It's called Joy, The Birth of IVF. I didn't know the backstory of IVF. I didn't know that it was developed in the 70s and that the precursor was known as test tube babies. I knew that.
You don't remember that? There's a guy's a test tube
but
baby.
I didn't know that test tube babies became IVF. I didn't realize all of the religious implications. I didn't realize, I just lived in my own world. I didn't realize all of the issues that existed when it was developed in London by scientists over the objections of everybody. I didn't realize that there was the first baby who was born from IDF and what it's led to with 12 million children able to get life and parents who suffer from infertility issues able to have the joys of going to a graduation every year. I was not aware of that, and this movie captures it. It's based on a true story, quite obviously, and I love when I get to watch movies and learn, and I love to be entertained. It went quickly. I didn't check my phone. I didn't Google during the movie to learn about the stuff. I Googled after to sort of follow up fact versus fiction, the usual. If you can find it, you can go to Netflix. It's called Joy, The Birth of IVF. And I suggest it for anybody and everybody, whether you have children or not.
Thank you, David. Appreciate your time. Nothing personal with David Samson. Catch it every day wherever you get podcasts. Real quick, let's go to the boldest take of the week.
The Boost Mobile boldest take from the weekend on a Wednesday is presented by Boost Mobile, the newest 5G network in the country. You can call 305-486-GOTS. That's 305-486-4689.
Edric from Texas. Tim Allen is the best TV show actor of a generation. 3 different decades, 3 different shows. He's hilarious as hell.
Golden Oreos are better than regular Oreos.
What's up, fellas? This is Tony calling from Mobile. Just made a mess of pancakes for the kids, and I'm just now realizing butter is infinitely more important than syrup for pancakes. I'll hang up and listen.
Hey, it's Frank on a satellite phone. I got a limited fake Lou Dobbs as a pop artist. Waddle-a-hee, waddle-a-haw, waddle-a-hoo, waddle-a-haw.
Hey guys, Rachel on the Mobile, 2016, first time, long time. My hot take from the weekend, Lenny Kravitz does not own a shirt with more than 4 buttons. I'll hang up and listen.
Zaza Pachulia, Zaza Pachulia, Zaza Pachulia, my favorite big man.
Hey guys, hi from Ohio. Hey, my friends and I are big fans of the show, been listening forever, but we need your help. We have a bet amongst ourselves, and we need to answer so we can decide who is right. It's regarding Dan's hat size. The over-under is 9.5.
Over.
All right, I know I got to do this ad read, but hold on. Let me reapply. Did you hear that? Yep, that's my new favorite lip gloss from NYX Cosmetics. Now I'm ready to talk to you. I've been a huge fan of NYX Cosmetics for many years now. In fact, I use their Thick It, Stick It brow gel every single day. So you can imagine my excitement when we recently received a special delivery to the Batard studios from our friends over at NYX Cosmetics. And there it was. When I opened the box, glowing, I heard the angels sing, "Ah." It's their latest lip gloss fat oil lip drip. It's NYX Cosmetics' first lip oil of its kind. This creamy lip oil will have your lips dripping with fat perks. You get all the shine of a lip gloss and none of the stickiness while experiencing 12-hour hydration. I'm usually a matte lip gloss kind of gal. My normal go-to is NYX Cosmetics lip gloss, the Lingerie XXL. But after applying the status update shade, I have found my new go-to lip gloss. Fat Oil Lip Drip has high shine finish with comfortable wear and none of the sticky texture. A lip product that's hydrating, non-sticky, and only $9? Now that's a win. Try Fat Oil Lip Drip from NYX Professional Makeup. Available in 14 universally flattering shades. Find your perfect Fat Oil Lip Drip. Shop now at nyxcosmetics.com or a retailer near you.
Howdy, listeners, it's Mike. This is one of the best times of the year. You're caught up in the emotion of the playoffs. Big-time crucial games, going to games, hanging with your boys, hanging with your ladies, hanging with your family, and having a good old-fashioned time. Well, I can speak from experience. I've been doing all those things, but I've been doing so with a Miller Lite by my side because having good times is great. Making those good times a Miller time makes it an unbelievable time, a time of your life. With Miller Lite, a brand and a beverage that has been around for 50 glorious years. That's hard to do. Remain popular and delivering on great flavor for 50 years, brewed with simple ingredients. None of the fluff, just real flavor. Malted barley gives it that rich, balanced coffee note taste and the iconic golden color that just hits right every time. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.